I figure might as well keep going. I kind of wanted to take a break from arts and crafts today. So here we are. We got chapter 16 begins. John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, do solemnly swear, in tones, Supreme Court Chief Justice Earl Warren, the President-elect, repeats those words back to the jurist. The two men stand on the east particio of the Capitol building, watched by a crowd of nearly 1 million spectators. A severe overnight snowstorm forced to use flamethrowers to clear the streets, and 1,400 cars stranded by a blizzard had to be towed from Pennsylvania Avenue this morning. Now at midday, the temperature adjusted for wind chill is just 7 degrees, yet JFK does not wear an overcoat or hat for his swearing in, referring to depict an image of rugged youthfulness. After 8 years under America's eldest president, the 70-year-old Dwight Eisenhower, the nation now elected one of the youngest. As benefiting that youth, both of 43-year-old Kennedy parents are in attendance at first in the presidential history. It was an exciting day, I guess. 1 mile away in his office at the Justice Department on Constitution Avenue, FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover watches over the proceedings on television. Hoover is surrounded by several agents and their families. The mood is festive despite the fact that Hoover's personal choice in the recent election, Richard Nixon, was not triumphant. J. Edgar Hoover has now been in charge of the Bureau in many guises in 1925. Okay, here's Kennedy and J. Edgar Hoover, I guess. There you go. We got pictures. Some of the best books have pictures. Alright, now we're on this other page. Oh, hello, listener. This is I think I put on the description. It's a live recording. I know it's weird, but I got a bad phone, so it's kind of hard for me to tape on my phone, then download it. So this is how I'm recording my books. I'm saying them out loud so people can hear them, because I think I like to hear people read, so I'm trying to give back a little bit and do something constructive. I'll put rumors that he may retire because of JFK's election. However, Hoover has no plans to step down. J. and John F. Kennedy will remove him if you don't fire God, Kennedy complained to his friends. On this afternoon, Director Hoover is keeping a secret. He is well aware that the vote tampering played a key role in JFK's election. The FBI witness tapes have provided Hoover with that information and a number of other things that will increase his power. For example, Hoover now has a thick file on Kennedy's extramarital affairs, including detailed accounts of his philandering with Frank Sinatra, as well as the new president ongoing with Judith Campbell. After analyzing with voluminous material gathered by the FBI during the campaign. Hoover believes Sam Guicina and the outfit in Chicago were able to falsify some votes in JFK's favor. But rather than make these exposure allegations public, the director holds them in reverse to be used when it can benefit him most. The truth is, J. Edgar Hoover does not trust Kennedy's brothers. He is angry with JFK's decision to anoint his 35-year-old brother Attorney General. There is no way J. Edgar Hoover is going to answer Bobby Kennedy. The job of Attorney General is usually given to somebody with vast legal experience, but Robert Kennedy has never tried a case in court or even practical law. In fact, RFK's primary credentials are a sibling relationship with America's new leader, and the fact that Bobby was successfully helmed JFK's victorious presidential campaign. So it is that Robert Francis Kennedy is now J. Edgar Hoover's boss. Hoover has worked under 5 presidents and been granted unrestricted access to the Oval Office. This has allowed him to undercut attorneys general when necessary in order to advance his personal agenda. But this will be impossible in the new administration. The two brothers will definitely run the nation as a team, with Hoover outside the tent pissing in, to use an expression used by Vice President Lyndon Johnson. Even so, the director is trying to be optimistic about the situation, and he recently delivered a 5-page letter to the new Attorney General detailing the FBI's investigation into Commission in America. Favoritism. I think we've all seen that at our jobs. I guess it happens everywhere, even in the Oval Office. Hoover believes this is the greatest threat to the nation and hopes RFK will allow him to widen the scope of those red inquiries. It is apparent that J. Edgar Hoover does not intend to be subservient to tour guides at the Justice Department, have been instructed to advise visitors that Hoover became head of Bureau Investigation the same year Bobby Kennedy was born. In addition, an agent being posted at the door of the Justice Department gymnasium ready to prevent access to anybody without FBI identification, including the fitness-obsessed new Attorney General, but for now surrounded by friends and cronies as he watches John Kennedy complete his oath in office. J. Edgar Hoover is content the Kennedy brothers hold electoral power, but the thick docile he possesses on JFK's sex life is power of a far different nature. The documents are assurance that Hoover will remain director of the FBI for as long as he likes. However, the files are not enough, as Hoover leaves nothing to chance. Anticipating Robert Kennedy's arrival, the director has placed listening devices throughout the Justice Department. Hoover is so determined to undermine the new Attorney General's authority that he not only bugs RFK's private elevator, but also arranges for the speed of ascent and descent to be slowed so that a secret discussions can be recorded for personal long periods of time. Traps are being set. These guys are really vindictive in politics. That is crazy. Alright, Bobby Kennedy does not fear J. Edgar Hoover, nor is communism his primary interest. America's new Attorney General is eager to hit the ground running in RFK. That means greater focus on destroying organized crime. His work during the clean hearings has exposed the many tendrils of the mob that permeate American society in his best-selling 1960 book, The Enemy Within. Maybe we should read that one day. Maybe I'll stream that and try to get that one. Kennedy writes, if we do not on a national scale attack organized criminals with weapons and techniques so effective at their own, they will destroy us. In fact, the Wall Street Journal anticipates the most sweeping campaign against gangsters, labormen, and racketeers, and vice overlords. What is this story just unfolds? Alright, we're going to this next page now. The country has ever seen. In other words, the paper believes Bobby Kennedy will go to war with the mob. And he does. In April 1961, after 3 months in office, he authorizes the IRS to give him a team of new agents to investigate the tax returns of known underworld figures. And that's just the beginning. In a display of ruthless aggression that demonstrates the extent of Kennedy's zeal, he authorizes their deportation of Carlos Marcello, the feared head of the New Orleans crime family. Born in Tunisia, the silk suit wearing Marcello came in America as an infant, but in adulthood never applied for citizenship. Using this legal alien status against him, the U.S. Immigration Service handcuffs a surprised 51-year-old Marcello as he tries to renew his residence card. Then feds place him on a black flight to Guatemala, on which he is the only prisoner. For reasons that remain unclear, Marcello's previously obtained a fraudulent Guatemalan birth certificate. This provides American officials legal authority to deport the mobster to that nation. The United States has been trying for a decade to deport Marcello, but until now, no country would take this legendary criminal. But this time is different. The process begins with the Justice Department learns through an informant that Marcello has arranged for a forger to doctor Guatemalan birth records. The Central Intelligence Agency, which has been active in propping up Guatemala's military regime, receives orders to search for irregularities in the official recordings of births in San Jose Pinula region. They will find the phony register, the U.S. Immigration and Naturalization Agency, then uses this evidence to obtain an official entry permit from the Guatemalan government. Marcello's woes do not end with this arrival in Central America. Not wanting him in their country, Guatemalan authorities will apprehend the gangster for holding false citizenship papers. He is then driven into neighboring El Salvador under the cover of darkness, where he is released from military camp. The soldiers quickly place Marcello on a bus neighboring to Honduras. After a lengthy journey through the jungle, close by local men seeking to rob and perhaps murder him. Marcelo finally reaches an airport where he arranges a military flight to Miami through his good friend Rafael Ugello, director of Republic. From Miami, the gangster takes a commercial flight to New Orleans, where he is promptly rearrested for illegally entering the United States and also served with a $835,000 tax lien. But Carlos Marcello is allowed to remain in the United States as his lawyers fight for charges. All the while, Marcello seats and plots against the Kennedy brothers, swearing he will get his revenge. Okay, this is Carlos Marcello. He does not look like a happy man. He looks very pissed off right there. Oh boy. Alright. Bobby Kennedy is livid that Marcello is back in America. But as the New Orleans court debates the mobster's future, the Attorney General has other things to do. Kennedy sends a team of 50 lawyers to Chicago as a special prosecution unit against the outfit in June. The Justice Department hands down 13 gambling indictments. In July, RFK is successful in getting 4 anti-crime bills passed, which stiffen penalties against racketeering, illicit wagering. The Attorney General is present in the Oval Office when his older brother signs the Interstate Wire Act of 1961, also called the Federal Wire Act, allowing the feds to securely monitor gambling activity. All this, of course, is cutting into the mafia's profits. Behind the scenes, Bobby Kennedy's hopes of establishing a Nation Crime Commission are approved by J. Edgar Hoover, so Kennedy authorizes the Justice Department's Organized Crime and Racketeering section to gather information on known mob activities. Bypassing the FBI, data collected by 27 government agencies is now controlled by Kennedy. The results are immediate. In 1961 alone, prosecution of underworld figures nets 11 major convictions, including that of longtime Los Angeles boss Mickey Cohen. And of course, in addition, the Justice Department breaks up an international heroin smuggling ring known as the French Connection, winning 11 convictions in the process. Impressed by this success, Congress doubles the Justice Department budget for fighting against crime. J. Edgar Hoover does not like any of this and is especially offended when RFK visits with FBI field office in Chicago. And then the visit takes place on October 8, 1961. Agents ask if the Attorney General is interested in hearing wiretaps of local mafia discussing a recent crime. Kennedy eagerly agrees. On the tapes, the murder of 300-pound mob justice man Slang. For debt collector. That guy was 350 pounds. That's big. He must eat real good, I think. That's what it said, 350 pounds. Wow. Anyways, it's discussed in detail by the men who did the killing. William Action Jackson is no saint. In the course of his work, he is fond of breaking into homes of men who fall behind on their debts, then raping their wives as a reminder to pay up. He is arrested in the summer of 1961 while attempting to unload stolen electrical appliances in a warehouse. His five accomplices all manage to flee, but Jackson is too heavy to run. While in custody, the debt collector is asked to become a federal informant. As a lifetime member of the outfit, Jackson refuses, but the Juice Man's story is not believed by his fellow mobsters, who in their paranoia think he's an informer. 2 months later, Bobby Kennedy listens to the killers brutally describe how Jackson is kidnapped and taken to a Chicago meat plant. The giant man is stripped, his hands and feet are bound with rope. The meat hook is inserted into his rectum. Oh my god. His kneecaps are broken with a baseball bat. Then his ribs, a sharp object is shoved into one ear, poking a hole in his drum. An electrical cattle prod is then shoved in his genitals. Oh my god. Jackson still refuses to confess to being an informant, so his brutalizers use a blowtorch to incinerate his penis. Only then is he taken off the meat hook. This guy still didn't talk? Oh my god. I think I would have just asked someone to kill me at this point. The murderers have the big man bound to bleed to death, a passing that does not take place for 3 long days. In all his years of congressional hearings, Bobby Kennedy has never heard such depravity. He knows of murders and corruption, but this barbarity is too difficult for him to immediately process. The FBI agents will report to J. Edgar Hoover that a shocked Kennedy flushes with rage before he abruptly leaves their office. As RFK flies back to Washington to continue his crusade against organized crime, he is well aware that the outfit can murder almost anyone at any time they choose, even Robert Francis Kennedy. In 1961 is triumphant for Bobby Kennedy. The same cannot be said in 1962. And it is on December 11th, 1961, that the success of the Attorney General's first year begins crashing down. J. Edgar Hoover writes a second memo to his boss, revealing the new contents of a Sam Winsera wiretap. Sorry. The mobster is overheard laminating that his efforts to get John F. Kennedy elected have not resulted in less pressure on the outfit, nor has there been any significant attempt to get rid of Fidel Castro and the return of the mafia to control the Havana casinos. In fact, because of Bobby Kennedy, the scrutiny of the mob crimes has intensified. Wasana then boasts that he will find a way to use his relationship with the patronish Joseph Kennedy to keep their Justice Department at bay, admitting on tape that he secretly and illegally finished a large donation to the Kennedy campaigns through the further to help JFK to win West Virginia primary. Frank Sinatra is one of the go-betweens delivering for the cash. For the first time, the director of the FBI now has evidence that there's a connection between the Kennedy family and the organized crime, at least in allegation form. This is big. Sam Guisana's criminal empire now dwarfs that of all New York five families combined. His enduring relationship with Johnny Roselli continues. Guisana's control of Las Vegas and Hollywood. Both Kennedy brothers will be disgraced and forced out of office if the American public knew the most powerful crime boss in the country had influence over them. Thus, J. Edgar Hoover's memo to Bobby Kennedy is a cryptic threat he can use Guisana tap to bring down the Kennedys, should that become necessary. Hoover writes in that memo, make a decision to the campaign of President Kennedy, but not getting his money's worth. This is the first time Bobby Kennedy learns of any association between his father and Sam Guisana. Prior to this, the Attorney General believed that Joseph Kennedy wanted him to avoid organized crime controversies in order to court the labor vote. Knowing that his father may be more involved with the organized crime is deeply disturbing to RFK. What happens next is unclear, but Bobby and his father often have heated discussions about sensitive matters, such as their blowout over the McLean hearings 3 years ago. So it is more than likely that after being briefed by Hoover, the new Attorney General brings the Guisana issue to his father. Joseph Kennedy is vacationing at the family compound in Palm Beach, and Bobby is in Washington. So the discussion, if it happens, is by telephone. On December 18th, just 1 week after Hoover's memo is sent to Bobby Kennedy, a severe smoke immobilizes the 73-year-old patriarch, paralyzed by the right side of his body, and affiliated with the aphasia. Afflicted with aphasia, the elder Kennedy will never speak again. A stroke is brought on by soaring blood pressure, ensuing blood vessels rupture that cause a stoppage of blood flow to the brain. Whatever brought all that on in Joseph Kennedy's case will never be known. What is known is the patriarch is no longer possessed the ability to dictate family strangers, leaving John and Robert Kennedy to chart their own paths for the first time in their lives. Yet Joseph Kennedy is not dead, nor is the connections with organized crime that J. Edgar Hoover has in his possession. This man is a dangerous man, even in the government. Jeez Louise. On February 27, 1962, the director sends another memo to Bobby Kennedy, this time referring to the 70 calls made to the White House by one Judith Campbell. Gleefully, however, tells the Attorney General this 27-year-old beauty is known as a companion of Sam Guisana and Johnny Roselli. The FBI has long taped the phone calls in Roselli's Los Angeles apartment, where Campbell often stays with the gangster is out of town. The tape provides Hoover with transcripts of all conversations made from the apartment of the White House. Bobby Kennedy knows he and his brother are in dangerous territory. Not only does the director of the FBI know that JFK is cheating on his wife, but he also knows that Sam Guisana says that he helped to get the president elected. and emboldened how Hoover placed a call in association of Walter Winchell, the legendary gossip columnist. He feeds the anonymous item to Judas Campbell as a topic number one in romantic political circles. The Kennedy brothers get a massage. All this is going on and they're getting a massage. I tell you, baby, it's almost like they are gangsters. Under normal circumstances, a connection between a high-ranking individual and an organized crime would warrant a criminal investigation. Instead, J. Edgar Hoover practices a form of blackmail. He places those nuggets of information in the personal file of John F. Kennedy. The director is 66 now, a year past suggested retirement age for civil servants. But the Bureau is in his life's work and he has no intention of retiring. With these explosive files, Hoover believes he doesn't have anything to worry about. And while John Kennedy can be flamboyant about his private discretions, often acting as if no bearing on his presidency, so he now takes immediate action to address Hoover's memos. The 2 years after his first association with Judith Campbell, the president instructs his secretary, Evelyn Lincoln, that he will no longer take Campbell's phone calls. Judith Campbell is out. So is Frank Sinatra. The entertainer who arranged for both John F. Kennedy and Sam Glisana to share Judith Campbell claims to be one of the president's best friends. Yes, his allegiance to the mob is far deeper. In an attempt to gain even more influence with the Kennedy, the singer is now having an affair with Patricia Lawford, JFK's sister, and wife of fellow Rat Pack member Peter Lawford. Sinatra reveres Kennedy, but now in dangerous waters. The singer is insisting that JFK stay at his Collateral Palm Springs home. I had no clue one singer could be so significant in the world. Frank Sinatra has more power. It has a lot of power. Anyways, in the Tarramish County Club with its orphanage and with its orange furnishings and movie theater, an enormous swimming pool in anticipation of the president's arrival. Sinatra has even installed a new helipad, cottages for Secret Service, and telephone switchboard featuring 25 lines fit for the most powerful man on earth. But J. Edgar Hoover once again inserts himself in the situation, this time playing Bobby Kennedy wiretaps of a conversation between Sam Grisana and Frank Sinatra. The mobster is clearly disappointed with Singer, who promised to influence the Kennedy family to obtain more lenient treatment of organized crime. Grisana believes Sinatra has lied to him about his discussions with Bobby Kennedy and is actually considering a mob-style murder as revenge. Well, I hope they're not putting nothing in that stick in his butt. That was crazy. A meat hook on, oh, that makes my butt hurt thinking about it. Don't worry about it. If I can't talk with the old man, I'm going to talk to the man. Sinatra tells Glisana about Bobby Kennedy's relentless attacks on the mafia, make a reference to Joseph Kennedy and then JFK. In fact, before the Patriot's stroke, Frank Sinatra had met with him on 3 separate occasions to suggest that the president and attorney general back off from the mob. But Sinatra's efforts really didn't matter. Only results would do. The FBI wiretaps reveal that Guasana is deeply conflicted about having Sinatra murdered. If it was any other individual, the hit may be more immediately, but the mafioso is so enchanted by Sinatra's singing voice that he cannot imagine a world without it. I'm fucking Phyllis, playing Sinatra songs in the background, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, Christ, how can I silence that voice? Gusana admits to a fellow mobster. So Frank Sinatra continues doing everything he can do to please Sam Gusana. The FBI wiretap overhears the singer speaking a vulgar language as he displays his fealty towards the mobster, making it clear that Gusana is the friend that he wishes to please most, even more than the president. Sinatra insists he has taken extreme measures to obtain greater influence with the Kennedy brothers, and this was in their war on organized crime. Well, at least he knows. Sinatra is a smart man. I don't think I would want to side up against this mob. They seem very crazy. In addition, Sinatra tells Guasana about his affair with Patricia Kennedy Lawford and vows to sleep with this goddamn bitch until I get something going. Wow. The FBI tape is shocking. When informed of it by his brother, President Kennedy immediately cuts off Sinatra. He asks Peter Lawford to phone my drink's all the way over there. The FBI tape is shocking. When informed, hang on, I'm gonna get something to drink. Scoot over to the other side of my bed. I'll be right back. Oh boy. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. I dropped the book. Okay. Well, I got this. We only got a couple pages left up in here. I got my coffee. Alright. I'll probably be able to read better now that I got something to drink. Alright, Chong. There's Hurricane Chong coming through. Alright. Okay, I think. Oh, okay, now we're on this page. Alright, 210. We're getting there. In addition, Sinatra tells Guasana about his affair with Patricia Kennedy Lawford that vows to sleep with that goddamn bitch like it's something. The FBI's tape is shocking. When informed of it by his brother, President Kennedy immediately cuts off Sinatra. He asks Peter Lawford to phone the singer and inform him that he will not be staying at his home in Palm Springs. He'll be spending the night at Bing Crosby's Silver Spur Ranch, where actress Marilyn Monroe will be present. Upon hearing the bad news, furious Sinatra steps outside his home, sledgehammer in his hand, and he personally begins reducing the helipad or rumble blow by blow. John and Robert Kennedy know that J. Edgar Hoover can destroy them, but there is little they can do than avoid Campbell, Guisina, and Sinatra. As they might, the Kennedy brothers cannot definitely break the link to organized crime. And in the summer of 1962, the mob connection becomes even more outrageous. Attorney General Bobby Kennedy is quietly informed by officials of the Central Intelligence Agency that the government has enlisted the aid of Sam Guasana and Johnny Rosselli to assassinate Cuban dictator, Fidel Castro. The plan was not originally hatched by Kennedy's administration. The President, Dwight Eisenhower, had advocated a mafia hit on Castro years before. President Kennedy was told of the mission and gave his approval upon taking office. Bobby Kennedy is also aware of the pilot and backs off enthusiastically. The mob is the perfect group to manage such a killing and would allow the Kennedy administration to disavow any participation. Sam Guasana's outfit is so eager to see Fidel Castro dead that Johnny Rosselli and Guasana turned down the CIA's offer of $150,000 to perform the hit. The gangsters want to do it for free. They despise Castro that much. Initially, the CIA preferred a gangland murder utilizing gunfire, but no mobster would take the job on because the chance of escape are non-existent. And instead, the mob dedicates to use poison, based on the knowledge that Fidel Castro frequently drinks tea, coffee, and bouillon. The operation had two phases. The official CIA report will document the first ran from August 1960 until late April or early May in 1961, when it was called off following the Bay of Pigs. But that bundled CIA operation did not stop the plot against Castro. Instead, it was a monumental blunder taking place in Las Vegas hotel room. It all begins when Sam Guasana suspects that his girlfriend singer Phyllis McGuire is having an affair with comedian Dan Rowan. Guasana asked former FBI agent Robert Mayhew, who now works as the mob's liaison with the CIA, to take place a wiretap in Rowan's Las Vegas hotel room to confirm whether or not the affair is taking place. Hoping to keep the mobster happy, the 44-year-old Mayhew agrees in the name of discretion. He does not do the job himself, but arranges for a private investigator named Arthur Ballatieri to plant the bug. Dan Rowan is staying at the Riviera Hotel on the Las Vegas Strip. Ballati successfully placed the device, then spends the next week eavesdropping. But as he takes a lunch break one afternoon, Ballati forgets to hang the Do Not Disturb sign. A hotel maid entering the room, Butelli's room, grows suspicious when she uses a suitcase. When she sees a suitcase full of transmitters, wiring, receivers, and other listening devices. Notes detailing Rowan's conversations are also left in. Did I go through a page here? Okay, also left in the open when the page is stuck. The Las Vegas Sheriff's Department is notified, and Batelli is arrested. The next morning, Rowan requests that all charges be dropped and assumed he was coerced. But J. Edgar Hoover is now on the case, seeking advantage. He asked to have Batelli prosecuted in open court for a federal offense of wiretapping. He believes there is evidence to implicate Sam Guatana, and Johnny Rosselli, perhaps tying them to the Kennedy brothers. The CIA steps in, prosecuting Batelli's behavior as a matter of national security. Simultaneously, the murder plan against Castro is quietly shut down. But the CIA will not stop. In May 1962, the agency revives the assassination scheme. Director Hoover is still trying to prosecute Belletti, leading to the tense negotiations among CIA, FBI, and the Justice Department. On May 7th, Bobby Kennedy is briefed about the situation. If you could have seen Mr. Kennedy's eyes get steely and his jaw set, his voice get low and precise, you get a definite feeling of unhappiness. CIA General Counsel Lawrence Houston will remember. The Attorney General's dismay has little to do with the wiretap. He does not want Sam Guisana exposed in the Castro situation because he knows the mobster could implicate the Kennedys in all kinds of things. I trust if you will ever try to do business with organized crime and with gangsters, you will tell the Attorney General. Bobby Kennedy orders the federal agents to have come to brief him on Las Vegas matter. RFK quickly covers his tracks by drafting a memo stating that the Justice Department must no longer participate in any CIA activities. But 2 days later, Kennedy meets with Director Hoover to express his astonishment about CIA aligning with the mob. But the damage is done, and there is more to come. These guys, it's amazing how connected the bad guys and the good guys are. You don't know who's good and bad. This was like an exciting movie, this book. Sam Guisana has another plan. The mob boss remains angry, and his secret payoff to get JFK elected has done nothing to ease pressure on the mob. Guisana is still of the belief that sleeping with the man's lover gives him personal power over that individual. Guisana now sets his sights on betting another Kennedy consort, the 35-year-old actress Marilyn Monroe. Frank Sinatra has assured Guisana that the president is sleeping with the troubled Hollywood star. On May 19, 1962, at the gala, Madison Square Garden celebration, Marilyn Monroe publicly and somewhat scandalously serenades John F. Kennedy with the breathy version of Happy Birthday. The actress is just months removed from divorcing playwright Arthur Miller, her third husband. Dressed in backless sequined dress, so skin tight that she had been hoisted into it, wearing absolutely nothing beneath the gown. Monroe's slinky performance is a very public signal of her desire for the president. The display reaffirms Monroe's sex symbol status at a time when age and her personal addictions are slowly at one promising career. She has, in fact, risked her livelihood to be in New York City. Monroe abruptly took time away from filming the movie Something Got to Give to fly from Hollywood, much to the consternation of its producers. Famously self destructive, fond of mixing alcohol with pills, Marilyn Monroe returns home to Hollywood and begins a steady downward spiral that lasts well into July. She will be fired from the motion pictures upon her return, pursued damages. Marilyn will never again make another film. Poor Marilyn Monroe. I like her. She's really nice. To some, this is sad decline endangers sympathy, but to Sam Guasana, it presents opportunity, making the actress even more desirable to the mobster. Is Enudo that Bobby Kennedy has become an ardent admirer. I thought she was with John F. Kennedy. I didn't know. Maybe she was with both of them. I don't even know. Guess we'll find out. So, 4 months after Palm Springs falling out between JFK and Sinatra, Sam Guasana sets a trap. Among the mobster's personal land holdings is a resort on the state line dividing California and Nevada. Approximately, the casino is named Calneva, but Guasana's name is not listed on the deed. Instead, it is Frank Sinatra who publicly owns the gambling den on the shores of Lake Tahoe. In addition to having an affair with Patricia Kennedy Lawford, the singer has ended his relationship with her Rat Pack husband, Peter, over the Palm Springs JFK fiasco, and yet, for reasons unexplained, Sinatra now thaws that relationship and invites the Lawford couple to spend a few summer nights at Cal Neva. Patricia Lawford knows that Mary Monroe has been quietly informed to stay away from the Kennedys by Bobby and another top insider. She refuses. The president no longer takes her phone calls, but the actress still has limited access to RFK. Monroe is upset about JFK ending the affair, and there are fears she will damage the 1964 re-election campaign by speaking to the press. Patricia Lawford hopes to calm Marilyn down. So now, the behest of Frank Sinatra, she invites the actress to join her at Calneva. Marilyn Monroe has stayed there a year ago while filming The Misfits with Montgomery Clift and Clark Gable in the nearby Nevada desert. The film would be the last for the legendary Gable, who died soon afterwards. Monroe herself flirted with death during the production. Her dependence upon barbiturates so strong that filming was stopped for a week, so she made detox. Jeez. The actress's return to Calneva is anything but restful. It was there in '62 Las Vegas boss, the partner of Mayor Lansky, Vincent Jimmy Blue Eyes, also will recall Peter and Frank were there with Monroe. They kept her drugged every night. It was disgusting. Eyewitnesses will state that a photographer recorded much of the activity with Monroe so completely under the influence of narcotics that she may appear to be passed out. They will also describe that the actress leaning over the toilet covered with vomit as Sam Basana kneels to behind her, grinning for the camera. FBI agent William Romer of Chicago office will later listen to wiretap recordings of Rosanna and Roselli discussing the goings on in Bungalow 52. There I had put together, she and Gall, enraged, in an orgy from the conversation. I overheard it. It appeared she may have had sex with both Sinatra and Guasani on the same trip. Romer will include confirming that Sam Guasani had his way with Monroe, then bragged about it. The FBI wiretaps will record John Rosselli's incrediblest response to Guasana's relentless boasting. You sure got your rocks off, fucking the same broads as the brothers, don't you? 1 week later, Marilyn Monroe ingests a lethal overdose of chloral hydrate and I have no clue what that room is. Pentobarbital in the bedroom of her Los Angeles home. It's a barbiturate. Slow her heart and lungs until they stop altogether. By 10:30 p.m. on August 4th, 1962, Marilyn Monroe is dead. Sam Gusano seems to have gotten away with yet another atrocity. But his luck is all about to change. I don't know if it was Marilyn Monroe to blame or them giving her the drugs. I don't even know. Poor Marilyn Monroe. And then they both had sex with her in the same night. That is so disgusting. You know she didn't want that. They just had her drugged up. But that just makes me angry. Alright, well, that was chapter 16, and we don't have much left of this book, so I'm going to probably try to do a project tomorrow. I'll see what happens. I had the day off because I do have to start on some of my other projects, so I'm going to let you guys go, and probably 17 I'll at least do tomorrow. And have a good day. Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Something popped up on my phone.